This podcast represents the opinions of Tyler Barber and his guests to the show. This podcast is not intended to be a substitute for the medical advice of a licensed counselor or physician. The listener should consult with a mental health professional in any matters relating to their health or the health of a child. This is the Mayo Lab Podcast with Tyler Barber.
Welcome back, guys, to the Mayo Lab Podcast. We are here with Jakota and Jack Baker. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. You?
Can't complain. Doing the same.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Spring break right around the corner. We excited?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
excited. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You got any plans?
Jack?
Okay. Well, we're both going to Costa Rica for a mission trip.
Yeah.
So we'll leave Saturday and get back late Friday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it should be a good time.
Yeah, that'll be a fun trip. So tell me a little bit about yourselves.
Well, I am originally from Gulfport, Mississippi.
Cool.
About 5 hours as south as you can get in the state. Yeah, I mean, came to Ole Miss, not really on a whim, but it's definitely not my first option.
Yeah.
But ended up working really well. I've gotten to do a lot of cool things, meet a lot of cool people, and make this place my home. I'm an integrated marketing and communications major. I'm currently a senior. As far as passions go, I love just hanging out with my friends. That sounds really cliche, but
It's true, man. I get it.
Love to be active too, so whether that's working out or playing basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And you?
Well, my name is Jack Baker. I'm from Madison, Mississippi, about 2 hours south of here. I always knew I was coming to Ole Miss. My parents met here. Kind of grew up Ole Miss. And I'm a biology major. Next year I'll be going to med school at UMMC.
Cool.
And as far as passions go, you didn't even talk about music. That's like your thing, you know?
Dude, I know. Well, maybe I can mention it later on.
I like music, probably not as much as Jakota. And I really like exercise, running, weightlifting,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Cool. And music. What kind of music?
Dude, if it sounds good, I'll listen. I mean, that can be anything. I will say I don't really dabble in like EDM,
Yeah.
like heavy metal, but pretty much everything in between.
Yeah.
I probably like a little bit of it or a lot.
Cool. I relate to that, except I do like EDM as well. But yeah.
Nothing wrong with it, you
Yeah.
know, just not my thing.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm not really the most country guy. I don't like country music that much. Old country is different, but the new country is not really my thing.
Yeah, I've been into some old country lately.
More
I kind
country
of
lately?
like to mix it up. Kind of the fun for me is just like seeing what phases I'm into.
Yeah,
and then
I
looking
agree.
back and being like, oh, I like this then. And just
Gotcha.
seeing where I'm at in the future.
Yeah.
And you said your parents met here, right?
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's super cool.
1993,
Nice.
I think.
So you grew up Ole Miss for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Coming to games, walking around campus, you
Cool.
name it.
Yeah, I didn't do that, but Ole Miss was always really close. I'm from Tupelo.
Yeah.
And so I just ended up coming here. It was great though. Good decision.
Yeah, it's a good place to be.
And what brought you to Ole Miss?
A few things, honestly. I had a counselor of mine. She actually wasn't even my counselor in high school, as far as she wasn't assigned to me, but she is the mom of one of my best friends from home. And so she, I guess, had kind of taken me under her wing as a second mom of sorts during the school hours. And she was probably the main, one of the main influences in my college decision to come to Ole Miss, because she went to Ole Miss. She met her husband at Ole Miss. Her whole family, like going back many generations, is a big Ole Miss family.
Yeah.
And so she told me to look at it, and I had come here once my junior year for some conference through the Lot Leadership Institute.
Yeah.
And I actually never did an official tour or anything like that. That was the first and only time that I was on campus before orientation. And there were a lot of different things in between that obviously led me to commit to Ole Miss 100%.
Yeah.
But Alice Walker is her name. Miss Alice Walker, and she definitely played a huge role in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I got a question for you. So you guys both wanted to do a group episode. So I'm just kind of curious, where did you guys meet? And, how did that come about?
Well, we met really through the Column Society.
Yeah.
So I applied as a sophomore. Jakota applied as a junior. So we've really known each other pretty well for the past year. I served as the new member education chair, and he was a new member. So I kind of got to hang out with Jakota through that, and we've just kind of bonded over a lot of things that we have in common, things we like to do.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, when you guys started as freshmen, I got another question for you. When you started as freshmen, how did you kind of get involved around campus? Like, what did you guys do? Because I know that it couldn't have been easy to, I guess, show up. Even knowing people, it would be difficult to kind of get started. So, yeah.
You know, my freshman year, I really didn't do anything involvement-wise. I applied to be an orientation leader, and that training process took place during the spring semester. But, you know, that didn't really, I guess, get put into motion until the summer following freshman year.
Gotcha.
And so that whole year, I didn't really do much besides go to class, ate a lot of Chick-fil-A. You know, that was pretty much my life. No, only a few times. That's a mistake. That's a mistake.
Come on.
No. But, yeah, I wasn't really involved freshman year. A lot of it came, you know, afterwards.
I gotcha. And freshman year for you, how did that kind of go?
Yeah, it went well. I was kind of dropped into the gauntlet of classes with freshman bio and chemistry.
Yeah.
And my dad's advice coming in is, focus on your classes.
Yeah.
So that's largely what I did, except I was a honors college senator my freshman year, and I kind of got lucky with that. I kind of put my name in the hat. I was like, I'm going to run for it. Ended up getting elected, and that really helped me in a lot of ways. Got to know a lot of the other senators who. There were freshmen, sophomore, junior, and senior senators who kind of, counseled me and provided me wisdom as to like what to do in the future, the steps to take. So I think that I was able to kind of stumble my way into managing freshman year, focusing on my classes and not having too much else to think about or distract myself with.
Yeah, cool. And I know we talked about it last time, but I really can't remember. Senator sounds pretty high up. When you think about it, like the name, But what does that entail as a freshman, or even just as a
like the honors college senate kind of serves as like the honors college students' representatives to communicate with faculty and kind of put on events and ensure like the cohesion of the honors college, and just like they put on the honors college formal every year, and it's just an opportunity for honors college students to go meet and get to know each other and kind of take a step back from school. As well as just kind of promoting, success, like snacks during finals week or, trivia nights for the honors college. So it's kind of just like a fun way to, keep students engaged and, get to know faculty and voice the students' concerns to faculty.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I remember now, but I didn't know that. So I got a question for you, another one. But did you guys know anybody when you came here? I'm sure you may have had somebody.
Yeah, there was a few people from my high school that came to Ole Miss with me. I'd say maybe 10 or so. The number might be a little off. Mostly girls. A lot of the guys who I was friends with in my class ended up going to Mississippi State.
Gotcha. The rivals.
Yeah. But as far as close friends, besides my roommate, I'd say probably like 4 or 5 people that I came to Ole Miss from high school.
I gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, a large proportion of my high school came here. Probably half of my high school came to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And that was great. A lot of concern about coming to Ole Miss from where I went to high school is that it's going to be 13th grade and you're not going to be able to branch out. And I think it is what you make it. I absolutely was able to branch out, but I greatly benefited from having, some of my best friends from high school here, kind of as a support group. Yeah. We were all doing our own things, but at the end of the day, they were always there for me, and I was there for them. Yeah. And that was a really, really cool thing to see. Even the guys I don't really see that often that I went to high school with, it's good to catch up with them and just see them around.
Yeah. It's always nice to have community.
Yeah.
And so when you got here, how did, I guess, you build around your community, since you said they were mostly girls and a couple of the guys went to Mississippi State? But
yeah. So, I mean, as far as anyone who came, besides me and my roommate, came to Ole Miss from our high school, everyone ended up going through recruitment, like I said, except for me and my roommate. And just was awesome for them. I mean, I think one of the best things about Greek life is you're kind of given this pool of a community, going into your first day of class, at least for the girls and the guys after the first week of school or so, something like that. Yeah. But it really sets you up, to gain a solid community. Maybe you don't meet your best friend that you'll still be friends with senior year, first day of school, but you at least have that opportunity kind of given to you. But as for me, it took me a while to really branch out and, find the community that everyone who has been to college speaks so highly of. I think a lot of that was due to my own fault with, the adjustment from high school to college being a little tough for me. Because, in high school, you're going to class with the same people every day. You are eating lunch with the same people every day. Mm-hmm. The opportunities that you're having, everyone's doing those as well. And so you're not really having to go out of your way to make connections, to find new friends, all of those things.
Yeah.
And so that was a rude awakening for me coming to Ole Miss. The fact that I had to take it into my own hands if I wanted community and if I wanted to hang out with so-and-so, it was going to take more than, I'll see them in class. You were going to have to take some initiative and make that happen. So that really didn't happen until like my spring semester. And I gained my first friend who ended up being my roommate last year. Cool. And we're still really close to this day. But up until that point, I didn't have much of a community. Yeah.
So I got another question for you. Okay. You said that when you came here, you didn't really have anybody, or you had a couple of people, and I'm sure that was really stressful. Yeah. How did you turn that stress into becoming Mr. Ole Miss? Like, how did that? What was the path there?
There were a lot of steps in between. I wouldn't even say that it was really, my doing and taking these cards that I was dealt and, just playing a really good hand. Mm-hmm. Yes, did I happen to try to make the most of the opportunities presented to me? Yes. But I think a lot of it too was, a lot of people just taking a chance on me, whether that was becoming a part of an organization like the Column Society or Ole Miss Ambassadors or whatever the case may be, or even, friends taking a chance on you and, thinking and deciding like, hey, I do really want to pour into this relationship with Jakota, and for whatever reason, I enjoy his company, I enjoy being around him, whether that's Jack or a plethora of people that I've met. And so, I think more so than anything, a lot of people had a large role to play. And from those people, I was led to try to make the most of the opportunities I was given, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And I got a question for you as well.
Yeah.
This is kind of going back towards our last conversation, but you had a really cool mentality, really, really interesting mentality towards life. And I think it could benefit a lot of people, where it was like, I don't want to say David Goggins, because he's he's a little intense with it.
Yeah, I'm not that intense.
No, but you're very disciplined. And I just kind of, if you could walk me through, I guess, like how you came about having that routine and how you, I guess, have that mentality towards life.
Yeah. And I think that, as far as like my discipline goes, like I've always been like a driven person to get like tasks done, make good grades. Mm-hmm. But I think that, when I think of discipline, I think of like exercise, like, you got to be consistent, do it all the time. And really I kind of pinpoint the start of that journey back to my junior year, the start of my junior year. One of my good buddies, Joel Mills, he's since graduated. We just decided to run a marathon together. Cool. And, I was like, okay, like, sure, I'd never run more than 5 miles probably. Mm-hmm. But just like his company and like the way I was able to build community and strive towards that goal really kind of set a fire in me. Like, just working for something that's, greater than just a daily task. You can just keep going through the mundane and same old over and over and never really accomplish anything. But for me, when I see like, okay, like this is the task at hand. Like I'm always kind of a task-oriented person. Yeah. And I think sometimes I idolize that too much and it kind of becomes an obstacle to me because it's like I can't really sit back and enjoy the present moment. Yeah. But that's something I'm definitely working on and getting better at, is, being where my feet are, enjoying the people I'm around and what I'm doing. But I love having that goal. And I think it makes you, a better person. I think that, one step is all it takes for a long journey. And I think that that's true whether you're running a marathon, like I'm going to run this marathon. But what I found is that running every day, waking up and having this goal made me what I thought to be a better man in all aspects of my life. I was waking up early, working hard. Not that, you have to wake up early necessarily, but I was doing things that I didn't necessarily love to do. Yeah. And it kind of set the tone for my day. Running's one of those things you never want to do it, but when you get done with it, you're like, man, that was great.
You feel good.
I'm really happy with that.
Yeah.
And it kind of, empowered me in my studies. It's like, if I can do this hard thing, then I can get through my day with relative ease.
Yeah.
And it kind of, I don't know, some kind of weird way, it made me more empathetic and understanding of others. It was I'm going to, listen to you. And I don't know, you might want to cut that because it didn't really make much sense.
I think it made a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, it definitely made.
But I think it just, it just really, it keeps me inspired.
Yeah. So the marathon mentality, pretty much towards all of life, though. So
the
marathon is where it
all
started,
of life. I just think that having that goal, and it's easy to get fixated on that goal. I'm going to run this marathon in 3 months. And I don't think that's, how you should perceive it. You've got to take it day by day. You're like, I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday.
Yeah.
And just keep that rolling for 3 months and see where that gets you.
There's a saying about that, and I can't remember who it was by, but it's like a 1% better every day kind of thing. And I think that is a great mentality to have.
Yeah.
Especially in college.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that I think, again, it starts with community, kind of build off what Jakota was saying. It starts with community and, finding somebody that will make you a better person and push you to, do something difficult that you might not want to do.
Yeah.
So I guess my advice for having that kind of mentality is to just maybe take a step out of your comfort zone. If you feel like you're stuck in the mundane, monotonous cycle, then maybe, push yourself, kind of fall out of the nest and just kind of see how it impacts your life. And if you don't like it, you can go back to doing what you were doing.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That's good. I think I really like what you were saying about, how much of a role it's played to make you a better man. Because you come to college and you have a lot of goals and a lot of objectives, just naturally, of things you want to do. Like, you want to do well in class. You want to make friends. You want to have fun, whatever that means for you. But I think, especially guys, you forget how much of a role the little things play in the things that become really big.
Yeah.
And how much small decisions that you make every single day, like Jack was describing, how that plays into not even the next year, but even the next 50 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think, sharing a like-minded goal as we do of just trying to become a better man. I agree. It starts with the community, but also it starts with you and yourself. Like, what do you want? Who do you want to be? What do you want to accomplish?
Yeah.
And that can become really twisted really quickly, when things like pride and idolization kind of come into play, like you were talking about. But I think if you have good people around you pouring into you, and your head's on straight, and you want something for the right reasons, then it'll happen.
Yeah. I couldn't have said it better, honestly.
I agree. And kind of just to tie that back into what Jakota was saying earlier, necessarily about community and reaching these goals. Because I think Jakota and myself, to an extent, are people who have really been able to reach our goals in college. At least, on paper, we've, had some distinguishments, which is a huge blessing. But I wouldn't look back and say, I would say, I'm happy to have accomplished those things. And they were, yes, something I thought about accomplishing and something I would have liked to do.
Yeah.
But I think that the reason that Jakota is Mr. Ole Miss is because of the small things that Jakota does. People like Jakota are drawn to Jakota because of how intentional he is. Jakota's not trying to be somebody he's not. When you talk to somebody like Jakota, you're going to get the same thing, and he's going to pour into you.
Yeah.
And that's what really makes it appealing, instead of trying to put on this front and reach these goals and pressuring yourself. It's not about, playing the cards you were dealt exactly the best you can, because you can't. Hindsight's 20/20. You're going to look back and be like, that was stupid. I did that wrong. It's about, making the most of every moment and doing what you can, and sitting down with people. I guess we've kind of had this theme of community going, but really being intentional and loving them well.
Yeah, definitely. And I have a question for you guys too. It circles back to community as well, but you're both pretty involved around campus. Yeah, you're pretty involved around campus. So how, I guess, do you manage that time-wise, like on staying close to people while you also have these other responsibilities going on?
Yeah. For me, man, like, I'll say this to preface. As much as the next guy, I heavily enjoy my alone time, you know, whether that is working out or running or, you know, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I enjoy my alone time. But also I really enjoy being around the people that I love and that I'm able to pour into. They're going to pour into me, that are going to make me better at the end of the day. So whether that is, I can sit here and name people literally all day, but there's a portion of myself that I think thrives off of community, and I'm better for it.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, I think that's why a lot of people end up getting involved, is because you want community, you want to meet people, you want people to push you towards your goals.
Definitely.
Whether that's to stay where you are, or, you know, Jack very easily could have stayed a member of his fraternity or a member of the Column Society, but he had people around him, whether that was friends or mentors, push him, you know, like, hey, I think you should be the vice president. I think you should be the president of your fraternity. And push him to kind of take that to the next level.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's all about, like, you know, getting some really, really awesome people around you and just kind of thinking about, you know, like, okay, where can I take this? What can I do with this?
Yeah. So, but how did you guys, I guess, like, being involved, how did you kind of get into, like, being able to balance it, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's tough, especially as you get older. I'm just, I guess, again, like a very routine person, which is sometimes a fault of mine, because I'm, you know, too, like, I can't go do that. Like, that's 15 minutes. Like, I've got to be doing homework for this 15 minutes. Like, I've got this planned out.
Yeah.
But I think that at times, like certain weeks, it was like, I'm just doing too much. And I think that I learned from that. But I was fortunate enough to where it typically wasn't too much for me to deal with. That is one of my regrets looking back over college. Maybe not regrets, but I think it's something I could have done better.
Yeah.
Is that sometimes I was too busy to be intentional with the people around me and really build relationships. Because I think that sometimes, you know, college is all about finding a fine line. I think that's kind of the bottom of what I'm trying to get at. It's about, you know, being intentional with everyone around you.
Yeah.
Giving as much as you can give to other people while maintaining your integrity and maintaining, you know, taking care of yourself. You can't take care of others without taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
So you mentioned like a little bit earlier about pride kind of getting in the way sometimes about like or around your mentality. Could you go a little bit more into detail about what you meant by that?
Yeah, I think pride is the root of all of our problems. And I think that, you know, pride has a very subtle, tricky way of taking the good thing and making it bad. You know, it's like you get an accomplishment, like what's a good like, I was going to use Mr. Ole Miss, and I was like, he's sitting right there. It's like, you're Mr. Ole Miss, and like he could go around just flaunting like, hey, you know. But I think that pride in the form of accomplishing goals kind of manifests in a different form. You know, it's kind of like a subconscious pride, like, oh, I finished this marathon in a certain time, or I'm so disciplined, like I'm so great at what I do.
Yeah.
And I think that's really like a problem that like guys can have as far as like being judgmental. And I mean, I think we all suffer from it. It's like, you know, like, oh, he's not doing this as well as I'm doing this. And it's kind of a misconception of like what masculinity is. We're all kind of trying to put up this facade that we have it all together when we necessarily don't.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I don't know when it starts, but I feel like it starts when you're young. I like something about growing up, you just kind of feel like you have to be like a rock, you know?
Right.
You have to be, what is the word called? Like not vulnerable, like unfazed almost, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it felt. It feels for me. I don't know if you guys are the same, but.
No, for sure. Especially when you come to college too. And I mean, whether you didn't have an immediate family member who came to Ole Miss like myself, or your parents met at Ole Miss like Jack's, you are kind of like thrown to the wolves in a sense.
Yeah.
And I think that almost clicks something in our brain that makes us feel as if we have to have it all figured out, and we have to be the coolest guy in the room, and that we're not allowed to show our feelings, and that we have to get it right every time.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, I don't believe that's true these 4 years you spent in undergrad or for your whole life.
Yeah.
And like, as long as you believe that, even a little bit, because all it takes is a little bit of pride, which is really dangerous. But even a little bit, you know, that's able to really take root in your life, and I think sprout a lot of things that just end up being not good behaviors.
And I think kind of, you know, what he's talking about is like how often dudes misplace their identity. Because if you put your identity solely in yourself, then of course you're going to have to be, you know, the baddest, the smartest, the most careless, coolest guy in the room, which is a common theme. And I think we all, you know, kind of have those, at least that internal dialogue.
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, to be a man is to serve something greater than yourself. I was actually, me and Connor G were talking about that the other day. If you live for yourself, you die for no one. You know, because at the end of the day, like, you know, what is your impact on this earth? You know, what did you do? What did the people around you make of you? And if you're solely here to make yourself better, and we've talked about how other people can make you better, but I've found that, you know, the best way other people make you better is when you pour into their lives, and try to impact them. It's kind of reciprocal,
and open up and allow feedback and allow them to help you. That's another thing, at least that I struggle with, and I'm assuming that a lot of men struggle with, is just allowing people to help. You know,
definitely listening,
because you don't want to take it because you feel less than almost if you take it. And that's just a mentality that you kind of have to break out of, I feel like. And also I have a quote as well that I kind of wanted to say. It's a Latin phrase. I think we may have talked about it before, but it's like vincit quasi vincit, and it just means he who conquers himself conquers all. Yeah. And that is an amazing quote that I try to live by. It's a really good one.
Yeah. Kind of going back to just pride and the effect that can have on you. I agree. You know, one of the definitions of a true man is being a part of something bigger than yourself. I think the struggle with a lot of guys in college is you think the biggest thing to serve is yourself. And that was something that I believed at one time.
I think we all have.
Yeah,
honestly.
for sure. But as soon as you know, not only come to terms with the fact that you are not the biggest thing, and there are greater things to serve, and you're not going to get it right every time.
Yeah.
No matter how hard you try, and whatever that may be, I think things start to pan out a little bit better.
Yeah.
And then also, you know, not only figuring out that is the case, that there are things greater than yourself, but I think choosing something to put your hope and your trust and to serve. You know, I know for a lot of guys, including myself, and Jack, that's been our faith, but, you know, just something else that's not you.
Something bigger than you.
Exactly, because as long as it's you, you will meet every single stereotype that there is about toxic masculinity. I really believe that.
Yeah, and I think it'll just kind of eat you alive, you know?
Yeah,
when you're there, you will be, you know, maybe the biggest, baddest dude in the room, or whatever you want to be. But when you get home at night, I mean, at least in my experience, when I've been in that kind of time period, it's just like, you know, you feel empty. You know, we all have a void in our heart that we're looking to fill, and it's up to you how you decide to fill it. And I think that the most important way is, you know, kind of, if this doesn't work, then try something else. It's kind of like I was talking about earlier, like staying disciplined. It's like, I'm going to give this a shot.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, do something else, you know? So I think that, you know, as men, we've got to first realize our own vulnerability, you know, like I'm not Superman. You know, no matter how much I want to act like I am, when I get home, I'm going to be Clark Kent.
That's a quote.
Do you like that?
Yeah, that was
Do you like that?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Thanks.
That was good.
And then, you know, it's like, where do you go from there? You've got to address that. You've got to figure out what it means, to be a man. And like Jakota said earlier, these are the formative years of our lives. What we do now will kind of echo throughout the rest of our life.
Definitely.
So am I just going to sit here and, serve myself? Or am I going to figure out how to find my identity and figure out what I want to do, not only in the workforce, but in this world? Because I think that everybody, in this world is capable of making a huge impact on it.
Definitely.
And that doesn't look like necessary. Well, it does, but you don't have to cure cancer to do that. I think that, being a good man and serving your family well, serving those around you well, and, setting examples for younger people, maybe people who, don't have the wisdom or the advantage that you have of, having some knowledge and good community around you.
Definitely.
Of kind of showing them the way is really a great way to make an impact.
Yeah, I agree. And tying back to what you said a second ago of like the toxic masculinity and like when you go home, you're empty. I have been that guy a couple of times, and I think every guy actually has, but it is just the worst because you go home and then you remember, and it's like you play back everything in your head from what had happened. And at the time, you felt like you were doing the right thing because you're the big guy. And then you get home, and then you just wish you did everything differently.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a moral center, and that I think we all have it, and we just need to let it out more, embrace it.
Right.
So yeah, I 100% agree.
I think another thing that's really important to consider as you aim to become a better man, especially in college, is really thinking long and hard about what things are worth it to you.
Yeah.
Whether that is your community or your academics or your accomplishments. But you're going to place your worth in the things you see as worth it. Now, placing your identity in those things, I think that's definitely a step in that process that comes if you're not careful.
Yeah.
But as for me, I think taking into consideration for a long time the things that I see as worth it. I didn't get it right all the time. I've seen some things that's worth it these past 3.5 years that didn't end up being worth it. But I think that's also a part of the process in finding how you want to spend your time, how you want to grow, what kind of guy you want to be, what kind of impact you want to leave, what you want to be known for.
Yeah.
I think it all really boils down to, man, what's worth it to me?
Yeah.
Is it worth it to sacrifice this 15 minutes that I have today to spend time with friends? It may or may not be, but I think those small decisions, impact greatly who you become.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like kind of what we were talking about earlier with the marathon and the gym. It's the small decisions they build up. And also, I have something to say. I recorded with Betsy not too long ago.
Yeah.
And we actually talked about embracing failure. And that is another great topic to kind of go along with not just masculinity, but in general. Just when you hit a wall, like run through, you know what I mean? Or if you can't run through, run around it, but keep moving.
Yeah.
And I forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, I think pushing through failure is one of the best things that you can do as a human, because if you let it stop you, then you're just going to sit there forever.
Yeah,
you're gonna
for sure.
Think about it.
What's the point?
Yeah, exactly. But thank you guys so much for being guests today.
Thank you.
I really appreciated it. It was a really good conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
guys.
really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And stay tuned, everybody, for the research report. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for listening to the Mayo Lab podcast. We appreciate you spending time with us and being a part of the conversation. I'm Tyler Barber, and if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and share with a friend. Until next time, keep the conversation going.